And welcome back to another pregame interview for Survivor Brooklyn South All-Stars. Today we are joined by Emily. Emily, how are you doing?
I'm great.
So it's getting right into it. When you get the call that they want you back for All-Stars, what about your first game do you feel like really stood out for production, specifically George?
I think that my first game was really unique because I was on the Brains tribe, which was decimated from the beginning. So I was one of the last two people on Brains, and I went to every tribal council up until I was voted out at Final Four. So I think that was pretty unique because I got a lot of game time, and I really managed to kind of weasel my way through the game since I didn't have a strong starting tribe alliance because they were all gone.
Okay. And as the cast starts getting announced, well, first of all, how did you feel about the fact that the cast was announced before you guys hit the mat tomorrow?
I think I have mixed feelings about it. I think I'm kind of happy it was announced ahead of time, but I'm not so happy it was announced like 4 months ahead of time. I think that it was a little bit stressful, although there wasn't, I mean, maybe I'm just out of the loop, but there wasn't a lot of talk, I think, before maybe this week. And now there's been a little bit more. So I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it, but I'm glad that I have it ahead of time because I think if I didn't know the cast, it would be like really stressful going into game day.
Okay. And do you feel like knowing the cast will help or hinder your specific game when y'all start tomorrow?
Well, I mean, it gives everybody the information, right? So I don't know if it helps me specifically. I do think it probably helps because the newer season, like the season 4 and 3 people, have played more recently and probably have been talking more recently. So I think it does help kind of like the older crowd get back in contact with each other and gear up for that. Yeah.
Okay. And as the cast is being announced, do you already start fantasy booking in your head? Like, I'm definitely working with this person. This person's probably going to target me. Maybe I'll talk to them beforehand to make sure we're good. Do you run all of those scenarios in your head, or do you just say, "Hey, you know what? Whatever happens, happens. Let's be as fluid as possible."
I think a little bit of both. I definitely have been talking to a few people that I'm close with before the game and thinking about who I'm not so close with going into the game. But I do think the starting tribes are going to determine a lot of what goes on. And, if I end up not having a lot of my friends on my starting tribe or something, like I'll definitely try to go with the flow as much as possible and get into new alliances. And I do think some people are going to be open to making new bonds on the mat.
Okay. And the LRG community is small-ish. We all kind of know each other. We know about each other. We've seen each other play. Do you feel like we have two options? One, we're only going to care about what happened in their season of Survivor Brooklyn South, or we're going to put a lot more stock into every other game this person has played. Do you feel like there'll be a good mix, or do you feel like people are putting stock into one or the other?
It's a good question. I think that I guess it's hard because these games aren't edited into episodes. So, like I honestly have no idea how much like digging through the Facebook group to watch like old videos people are doing. Like to be honest, I don't even know anything about like what happened in season 1 or season 4 since I wasn't there for either of those. And I mean, maybe other people have been taking the time to look into it, but I haven't so much. But I think each person comes with their own like reputation within the community, and I know a lot of people have played other games as well. So that's something that I'm thinking about. But in terms of like specific things that they did, I kind of think that will fall by the wayside because so much of it's going to matter so much what happens on game day and maybe just like the reputation someone has coming in. But I don't know about like specific little plays or something. I'm not too worried about that.
Okay. Uh, these games are all about perceptions and all that jazz. Going into an all-star season and with the stack cast y'all have right now, and I would put your name among those people that I feel like are looked at as making the cast stacked. Um,
Thank you.
Do you feel like, will it be the winners that are targeted? Just whether you do it or not, do you feel like the winners will be targeted first? The big names will be targeted, maybe people that are newer to the community. Do you feel like there's already kind of a groupthink aspect as far as, let's go after these people first, nip that in the bud, get rid of them? Or do you feel like everyone is hitting the mat, trying to play as fluid as possible and claiming that they don't really have many pregame alliances?
I think that I don't know if there's such a group thing. Like as a full cast, we're not very close. Like I don't think everyone's going to be targeting the winners or anything like that. I guess in my kind of with my friends I've been talking to beforehand, like my goal is to target probably the newer players as quickly as possible because I mean I played in season 2 and I feel like the season 3 and 4 casts are closer with each other, and so my goal will just be to target those people as quickly as possible. And I have talked to some others about that, but of course I worry that they'll be thinking the same for me. So we'll have to see how that goes.
Okay. A couple more questions. One, George, and his infinite, goal to fuck with people, has been putting out cryptic videos throughout the last few months. What kinds of twists are you hoping are not thrown y'all's way this season?
Hmm. That's a good question. I mean, I I guess I'm not a big fan of twists in general, so uh, I don't really want to see a lot of twists. I'm worried about small starting tribes. So, like, if he tries to put us on really small, like 4 starting tribes or something, I think that will be very bad for me. Um, so I worry about that for sure. I also the only video that really stuck out to me was the one he posted that had Sandra in it, or I guess he just posted Sandra's video. And she called out the winners, Troy and Kai, which seemed a little strange to me. And so I'm thinking that maybe George might have a schoolyard pick and have Troy and Kai be the captains of our starting tribes, which I honestly think could go either way for me in terms of being good or bad. But I think that Kai would maybe pick me on the earlier side, which would also like force me to show my cards as well. So it's definitely something I'm nervous about going into it.
Okay, and the overarching theme. So, we have All Stars. There are 20 of you. Do you feel like it'll just be straight Survivor Brooklyn South All Stars and that's it? Or do you feel like there's going to be a theme to go along with the All Star mini theme?
I honestly haven't thought like I want to say no because I guess that's what I'm hoping for, but maybe George has something crazy planned. I think some people were saying that it would be similar to Game Changers, but I don't know. Like I think if it were me, I think All Stars is enough of a theme. And I'm sure there will be a swap at some point, like typical Survivor twists. But I'm not thinking there's going to be some other big theme. But maybe I'll be wrong. We'll see.
Okay. And final question, who is your all-time Survivor crush?
Probably Kim Spradlin.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. That's the first Kim we've gotten. So,
Okay.
the queen.
Yes.
Well, Emily, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I know you said you've had a hectic schedule.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking the time to do this. I'm really excited to actually see you play this weekend. And thank you all for continuing to tune in to these pregame interviews. And we will see you after the next Survivor Brooklyn South pregame interview.